Okay, so hey, it's a Real Talk USA with the real estate guy. Today we're sitting here with Simon from the Mesas. Yeah, I always screw it up. It's the. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, yeah. My name is Simon Tipene Adlam. I'm the director of the Arizona Museum
So,
of Natural History in the city of
see,
Mesa, and I'm also the commissioner for the arts in the state of Arizona. Great to be here, Chris. Thank you.
yes. This is part two because we had technical difficulties, which was always fun, right?
Yeah,
So we were talking about the Startup Justice Program, and then how the museums roll in that once kids have kind of stumbled and fallen, and then they're being picked back up by the city, and your guys' part in that.
yeah. So this relationship with the courts, it was a personal one through someone I got to know. And it
Mm,
resulted in this great, basically supporting the city and the courts in the restoration in the restorative justice program. So, so last year I think we had 52 families that came through.
yep.
That's 52 families that were reunited in a safe and
Nice.
respectful environment. For me, it's actually like 52 families that have a chance.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great things about our community, Chris, is that no matter where we come from, you know what I mean? Like, and a
Yeah.
lot of us are new here, like myself. We all kind of find ways to support each other. And I think that's really
Mm,
the beautiful thing about the museum and I think why we're so different to many other museums, like we're so much more different because we're really driven by what our communities need and want and
mhm.
enjoy. A big
Yeah.
part of a naturalist museum is joy and curiosity, right? So
Sure. Absolutely.
people we've been around for 40 plus years, and like so we'll get like dad coming in with his mom, and dad's got his kids there, and he came here as a boy,
Right.
and
Well,
his
see, that's
so
that's and that's one of the cool things. Like my wife and I took our kids there, who are now going to be 25 and going to be 30, right? And now my daughter is taking her kids there, which are my grandkids, and they're
right.
right now almost 6 and almost 3. So it's a staple of the community for sure. And the draw with it was word of mouth because I don't think you guys ever really advertised. I don't remember seeing any advertising, and we just knew the museum was there from word of mouth.
Well, yeah, we are beloved by the community, like
Mm-hmm.
people really love it, and it's intergenerational, and we are for
Yeah.
families. It's a
Yeah.
great place for families to spend time together, have some fun, learn
Mm-hmm.
something the way that they want to learn. Again, this is just science fact, and you just go around, and you just pick things up that you're interested in, and we
Mm-hmm.
ignite curiosity. And I think that's a really, really beautiful thing that we do as a city,
Yeah.
because, I think it's important that, we provide a place for families to do something together and
Mm.
be a family and enjoy themselves. And
Agreed.
also it's a learning environment as well. And so that's something that brings me a lot of joy, and like why I do what I do, even though I'm kind of like new leadership in the United States coming through, which is quite different to previous types of leaderships within cultural organizations. Whereas we're much more focused on the business
Mm.
and running really successful government owned businesses. But the difference is we don't have shareholders. We have a community, and
Right.
we're accountable to the community. And, when we have healthy communities that are prosperous, then that's really, really good. And they're our shareholders.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so we listen to them.
Yeah. So how long have you been in your role at the museum?
3 years now and loving it. It's a great place to work. I work with a lot of really, really smart, passionate people. And,
Okay.
like you have to be really into people. You have to be really into
Mm.
the community, and providing all these services to the community. But it's great. And, like most things in life, Chris, it's all about people, right? And the
Yeah. Yeah.
relationships that we have with each other. And so for me, yeah, I love it. So it's 3 years now. Um,
Okay. And
and
where did you come
loving
from?
Arizona. I was originally born in New Zealand
Okay.
when I was a lad, when I was a young guy, a long time ago.
Right.
I finished university and stuff, and there wasn't any jobs, so most of us all left, and
Mm.
I just didn't come back. I ended up in New York City. I trained
Okay.
as a city planner, actually.
Oh,
Not your normal museum director, and
right. Right.
yeah, I kind of stumbled into a really big job with big public art installations, and that's how it all started. And then
Wow.
quickly grew a reputation for building museums.
Okay.
And so I had built a career all around the world of, just creating new museums or fixing
Really?
old museums. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, it's really, really lucky to have a career like this. But again, I really, really believe in, in these kinds of things and the benefits to our communities and stuff. They're all different.
Sure.
Like so natural history museums, cultural museums, art
Mm.
museums. But my hankering is for natural history because we share really complex stories, like a classic one is like time. Like we
Okay.
have to deal with time, right? And time to
Hmm.
a 2-year-old is what, like, with your grandchildren? What is time to to your grandchildren like
Mm.
right now? And then, like time to me is like, is really, really different. So we talk about those sorts of things, but we do it in a way that's accessible to
I didn't know
everybody.
that.
You know what I mean? So we deal with really big ideas and try to explain it.
So it fascinates me that you went down that path of like building or rebuilding and the museums and stuff. Have you actually designed stuff from the ground up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As a kid, I kind of ended up in the creative side of museums. So I was doing a lot of design work and was kind of, I was kind of successful in it. And then I ended up at the Getty Museum in LA, getting up the design
Oh,
there. I realized, I was like, oh, wow. In order to create these things, you're a project manager. And then an opportunity came for me to be a project manager at the Natural History in LA. And I jumped on it because I realized that if you really want to govern or direct creativity and stuff like that, or enterprise, you really have to be in control. You really have to be in control of the budget. So
yeah. Yeah.
at that point,
Good point.
I did a big lateral thing and headed into project management and administration.
Okay.
Um, I did I did at a certain point in my career I did have a reputation in the states of being called the architect and designer killer. I probably shouldn't share that, but
Really?
because I knew what we needed and we were going, and I just didn't tolerate, a lot of what happens with architects and stuff like that. And so I had if we, the client, weren't getting and we were going, I had no problem of releasing people from their contracts. So that was a long time ago.
Okay.
But yeah, but that was sort of like,
So
that was back
you're
in
the
the,
John Wick of the arts and museum world, right?
you know what? I'll take it. I will take that. I will say, yeah,
Mm.
I do have, well, no, I would say I'm forward thinking, future now,
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
like really, yeah, working in government, we're responsible for the public resources and we're accountable
Right.
for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
our obligation to ensure that we're getting the best and most efficient use of public
Mhm.
monies
Right.
with the
Yeah.
maximum impact. You know what I mean? So,
Now, see
yeah, so I have no
if
problem.
that philosophy right there could go all the way to DC with the bozos up there running things, our world would be so much better.
Well, you know what? I just feel like, in our roles as public servants,
Yeah.
that's where I sort of come from. But I don't know. That's kind of like the way I grew up with. I came
Hmm.
from a place where I'm a single mom and limited
Yep.
resources. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So we are
Hmm.
what our families, teach us. And so
Yeah.
work hard, be accountable. Budgets, stuff like so. I don't know.
No,
It
I
was
had
kind of
similar upbringing. Single parent household, everything was, I mean, we had chicken tail was coming out of our ears. It's one of those things where you just, I mean, it was, I mean, poverty was poverty, different levels of it growing up. So yeah, I mean, I grew up in that similar environment, so I get that 100%.
yeah, and it's like it's you learn a lot of. I think as
Hmm.
a kid, like I think you learn a lot of really important lessons about
Hmm.
resilience,
Sure.
about and ingenuity. I
Hmm.
think as well as all the other things you learn from family growing up, right? And
Right.
there's also downsides to that. Like as a kid, you have to grow up really quick.
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I was a latchkey kid, like from the time 8 years and on. I mean,
Yeah.
legit, I'd walk to school, come home. We had a secret doorbell ring. We had a secret phone call. You know, certain amount of rings before you, and then no, and then certain amount of rings, and then no before you could answer that type of stuff. So it was definitely a whole different type of upbringing for sure. And in this day and age, latchkey kids, you know, parents get locked away and thrown in prison for child neglect. It's like, really? Come on,
Right.
it's just how you are brought up.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I think that's why, like, I think a big part of like Rotary, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, is
Yeah.
a lot of us are at certain places in our lives whereby from different backgrounds, but community service
Hmm.
and helping others who need it is really, really important. So, so I think a lot of that comes out from that, growing up, you know, and
Agreed.
and and not having the resources that other kids had and stuff
Mm.
like that. So yeah, strong mums,
Yeah. Right.
really strong mums, man.
So let's talk a little bit about that. When we had decided to have you come on, you were kind of talking about the cultural and economic impact and stuff that the museum has in the city. So let's go down that path a little bit, the culture, the economic side of things,
Yeah.
and what that does.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Every I think 10 years there's a national study done by an organization called the American for the Arts, and it's called
Okay.
the Arts and Economic Prosperity Survey, and this was the sixth one they did. So it really looks at what are the economic benefits or things that when we invest in art and culture and science, what is the direct economic benefit to the communities
Yeah.
that they serve? And so, for example, one of the things that came out of this was, and this is all public information.
Okay.
So our budget is around 2.6 million a year. The
Okay.
direct economic impact for Mesa was $10 million.
Wow.
So yeah, so that, so for every dollar invested in the Natwist Museum, it generates $4 in total economic activity, pretty
Wow.
much pretty much directly.
Right.
Mesa, especially Main Street.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
we've seen the vibrance of Main Street, but when you have close
Hmm.
to 1 million people coming down to the Mac idea or the natural, you know what I mean? That's a 4-to-1
Yeah.
impact. So it's a key part of our economic vitality
Right.
for a city. And those are direct impact, but also
Yeah.
really more importantly, what's very attractive, and what I've learned about the
Yeah.
city from the role that I have is when large corporations or businesses, be them small or like the top 5 tech companies in the
Okay.
States, when they look at a city like Mesa, they see it as a high performing, well run city that has a
Yeah.
lot of great amenities for the staff that they plan to hire or relocate. So it's a huge attraction for businesses to come to Mesa when the
Nice.
city has these great quality of life amenities that we provide. It's even though we can give you like hard data in regards to direct
Right.
economic input, there's also bigger spheres of influence that makes the city as great as it is. I think actually, and don't hold me to this, but I think we're like the number one performing city in the United States. And
Wow.
that comes from great, executive leadership as well as a really great council. So, and I really think our communities appreciate that a lot. So always forward looking, and I was talking earlier about like there's a new type of like set leadership coming through within the United States within arts and culture, and it's very business orientated. Um,
Okay.
and so yeah, so we're I'm very focused on ROIs,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to through
You should
revenue,
be.
uh, you know, as well as the community impact as well. When we the ability to, get external funding to support us going out into other community parts of the communities that needs us the most is really important. It does two things from a business standpoint you
Okay.
know, and so forth, want to fund and support organizations that are proven,
Mm.
like that prove that they actually go out and serve the community. So a well-run museum is attractive because we deliver.
Mm.
Therefore, they will support us because they know that their philanthropic resources will be
Yeah.
well spent and used the way that they intended it to be. So, so it all comes down to that, like just good business management. And the only
Yeah.
difference is our our shareholders are the community of
Right.
Mesa.
How much of your because you said the budget for the museum is 2.6 million a year, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And then you pump about 10 million back into the economy. So like you said, it's $4 per every person that walks through your door, which is what I think you said 160,000 visitors a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So of your 2.6 million, does that all come from state funding or do you have, because I see the donate now button on your website, how much of that is donated and how much of that is actually allocated from the city/state?
So, we have a between a 65 to 70% recovery rate. And what that means is for the operating budget of 2.6 million, we
Okay.
generate contributed income. And that either comes through the door or
Mm-hmm.
through philanthropic contributions. We work with our foundation really closely. They're a 503c foundation. So
Okay.
when we get large grants and whatever, they come through the foundation and back into the
Okay.
cities.
Cool.
That represents uh basically what's coming through the door, as well as philanthropic dollars coming to
Yeah.
us. And in
Okay.
regards to basically a government-owned enterprise, I think we're performing at a pretty great rate.
Yeah.
But it's not all about the dollars and the management. It's really,
No.
when it comes down to it, it is really being a beloved part of our
Yeah.
city.
Well, absolutely. But it speaks volumes where you're not reliant on just city, state, and funding. But you have philanthropic donors. You have the sales as people come through the door. What does it cost to go through the museum?
Right now, off the top, oh boy, you're putting me on the spot. Right now, it's
Yeah.
actually pretty affordable. I think it's like $13 or $16 for an adult, something like that. But we have a
Okay.
lot of that's our standard admissions, but we have a lot
Yeah.
of, for example, for active military service and veterans,
Right.
we have senior
Sure.
discounts, like so, and we also make it very accessible for
For the kids.
for kids, for those that can't come here.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
Sure.
on Veterans Day, you need to come on down because
Okay.
we are free for active service as well as veterans and their families.
Nice.
So yeah, so we're we have a lot of ways where we try to show people that we care,
Yeah.
um, and we want to thank people for their service and the
Yeah.
roles that they play in our community and things like that. So yeah,
Do you
we do
have do
our
you have any like do you have like events? Like I know you have obviously like the dinosaur stuff. You have the mead van going around, schools, things like that. Do you have like events where people can come? Like it's Christmas is right on the corner, right? So is
oh
there
boy.
things the museum does that's related to the holiday season?
Oh yeah, so I
Okay,
believe
we'll share, Simon.
I think we have Merry Main Street coming up. I think we're engaged in that, so I think we'll be open. So that's, if you don't know,
Okay,
that's in downtown Mesa, and it's really really fun with the tree and things. We have free admission days, about 4 a year, so those are big
okay,
celebrations, big city festivals. On those days, we're free to everybody, and we do about maybe 6,000 people a
okay.
day will come through there. Those are the things that I really really love.
Yeah,
When we're able to do that for the community, but also we have a lot of other programming happening throughout the year. One of the favorite ones is our in Easter is our dino egg hunt. So
right.
that's where we have like 1,000 eggs with prizes all over the museum. So you can imagine what that's like.
Wow.
Like
Do you actually have
hundreds
dinosaurs
of
running
kids
around?
running around trying to find
Yeah. Now,
Easter
do
eggs.
you have people dressed up in the blow up T-Rex suits?
That's me.
I
That
know.
is
That's
me.
why I brought it up, man. Because when you did the talk at Rotary, you talked about that and you had the picture in the dino suit. So I mean, how much fun is that?
I mean, that's a free day, and that's when you really love your job. Like, I'm out there, everybody's a VIP, these massive families, they're so
Mm.
excited to come. I actually think one year through Rotary, well, maybe a couple of years ago, we got a donation of 500 bicycle helmets
Oh
with
wow.
I think, and I think they were either a ladybird or a dinosaur. And
Oh,
so the first 500 kids that came through the door got a free bicycle helmet.
that's
And
awesome.
of course, I was wearing my blow up T-Rex outfit. I was, normally with a cowboy hat. And,
Nice.
and those kids have the best time ever. But we also have lots of other, like we have, we have, like store, we do a lot of partnerships with the Mesa Public Library. So we'll
Okay.
have like, Dino story time, and we'll have local
Okay.
authors of children books coming in. And then we have like a whole adult series over the summer where we get, great scientists to come in and talk, and people love that as well. So since I've been there, instead of just being like for kids, we're now
Yeah.
for everybody. And then we also we did our first really big fundraiser, which was huge. There's a great business on Main Street called Lone Star Guitars, and they're new. And
Yeah.
I went in there one day and I was looking at an electric guitar I can't play. And I went
Okay.
back to Dino Mountain, which is, Dino Mountain. And I
Hmm.
was like, I started playing my air guitar, like, and I was like, rock on the rock. And next thing you know, it was our first premier fundraiser.
Oh,
So, yeah, it was, I think it was maybe a couple of months ago now. And
okay.
we had music and bands all through this amazing museums,
Really
and we had libations and great food, and it was great for our community, and it was a lot of fun. So we had a rock band on Dunham Mountain, which was fantastic.
nice.
We had an acoustic guitar player in the chapel. We had this phenomenal cello player since 75 million years.
Wow.
It Yeah, it was super cool. So it's definitely the Dino Museum,
Yeah.
but we're kind of like a dino museum that is doing lots of really amazing things.
Right.
Yeah, and we also got a new membership and donor program that we just launched actually this week. So
Okay.
now when if you and your family come to the museum more than twice, it's worth getting a
Right.
membership. When you become a member, you actually get all
Yeah.
these other things, like you get discounts on birthday parties, you get all this programming that comes free,
Right.
and as well as access to the museum for a whole year. And so
Wow.
that's really, really great. So if you're a young family, and we know like in the metropolitan area, it's free. If you want to go to like Legoland or other
Yeah.
cultural things, it's hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's so I don't know how families do it, but one of the great things
Mm,
about our museums are they're really accessible to families,
yeah.
and we work really, really hard to ensure that. Because things are really tough these days, and
Mm-hmm.
so the ability to go and have a little bit of joy and fun with your
Yeah.
kids I think is really, really important. Uh, so
Absolutely. And while you're
yeah,
talking, I'm sharing the dinosaur stuff that you have on the website, which I think is fascinating because you have what, five different dinosaurs in Dinosaur Hall, or five different species
yeah,
of dinosaurs. I don't know what you call it. That's pretty legit
yeah,
right there.
and we have the world's largest touchable dinosaur
Really?
fossil there. Yeah, like I've looked all across the world, and I was flabbergasted. Like if you go to one of the big cities, you'll be lucky to touch like a little piece of it. This is like a firma that's this
Okay.
big.
Yeah.
And when you touch it, you realize like, wow, those things were huge. And I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
I would not have survived. Like
No, I
at
don't think
all.
anybody would have survived.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but I mean, we live in a really interesting state. So as you sort of go through the museum, you'll sort of see things that like going, over a
Hmm.
couple of 100 million years ago, we were an
Yeah.
inland sea that went all the way up to Montana.
Right.
And that's why, like, most of the biggest, most amazing fossils are found between Sonora, Arizona, all the way up this side of the
Right.
Rockies. And it's because it was this really vibrant part of the world. And so, like 150 million years ago, there were huge volcanoes that were covered in snow and ice, and there were
Wow.
like, and it was like tropical forests. So it was a really, really amazing place here. And
Yeah.
so when you come to the museum, you see all these big dioramas, and it's kind of like, wow, like right where I'm standing, it was like this. And so the mesas that we see now, those like Monument, Valley, and the
Yeah.
amazing that we see, that that's actually the interior of these volcanoes, the solidified, lava that came in,
Wow.
and the volcanoes disappeared. And so yeah, it's a super cool. We live in a really, really cool part of the world, Chris. I love it.
Yeah, we do. We do. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm sharing the birthday thing because I didn't realize that you could have a birthday party at the Arizona Natural Museum.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Arizona Museum of Natural History. Sorry. So this is pretty cool. So is this birthday party can be for anybody, like from 5 years
Oh
olds to
yeah,
50-year-olds? So if I wanted
absolutely.
to have my birthday party there next year, I could have my birthday party, a dinosaur theme.
Greatly, Chris, greatly. Uh, we actually, about a year or so ago, we actually looked at that business and we realized we're underperforming. We
Yeah.
benchmarked, we revised it so we were competitive in the market. And so now we have this great birthday program with three different,
hmm
levels of
There's three.
whatever.
There's three programs: the Brontosaurus Bash, the Ultrasaurus Bash, and the T-Rex Excellent Deluxe T-Rex Excellent. That's hard to say, Simon.
Excellence. Yeah,
T-Rexcellent
that's my
T-Rexcellent
favorite
Deluxe
word.
package, right? So I noticed there's a difference between member and non-member. So what is it? Do you know what it costs off the top of your head to be a member?
Oh, right now off the top of my head, I think it may be between 80, 90, 100, like to be like I think that's a dual membership for two. I'd,
That's
I'd have
it.
to go online. I think they've just updated it online so you'll be able to find it. But there's
Well,
multiple
let's.
different levels of
Wow.
membership and donor levels with different things you get.
Well, there's the become a
Um,
member. So we're just going to click on this right now, and we're going to find out because this is something that
I hope it's working.
it is working. I look. I just pulled it up, buddy. There's all your benefits and stuff. Of course, it's so small in type that I can't read the actual cost of it.
Well, you know what? We've actually about 2 months out from relaunching our website. So
Okay.
right now
Oh, here it
you're
is. Here it is. Here it is. It's on the bottom. You're accurate. Duo is $75. That gets you
okay. Oh, wow.
free admission on certain days, access to certain different passport programs and member previews for new galleries. That's fun. So if the family wants to do it for $100, that's up to 4 guests, which is cool. So then there's your birthday discount. There's a $50 birthday discount for being a family member,
Yeah.
and you can go all the way up to the wow. You can go all the way up to you can be a
Yeah.
founding member, the founder society, director, curator, adventurer,
Yeah.
benefactor. So yeah, this is pretty neat. So you have all these different levels that people can come and be a member for, and you see the benefits of that, especially if you love going to the museum and you're there consistently,
And
and your little ones want to have a birthday party there, you're going to save money for doing so, which is cool because
it
when you were talking, I was like, oh, you can have a birthday party there because little man's going to turn 6. Little man loves dinosaurs, like
yeah.
loves dinosaurs. So that's something that automatically piqued my interest. I was like, wait a minute, like this could be cool to do just for that. I mean, because it's I don't know what birthday parties cost on a whole, but I think that's
Oh,
pretty reasonable considered what my daughter did for my youngest grandson who just turned 2 in June. He did it at one of those I don't Makuto's Island or something.
it's a lot of
I'm
money.
gonna yeah. So it's probably you guys are probably really competitive.
We're really, really competitive. One of the learning things I was, as we were benchmarking this whole thing,
Yeah,
I was really taken back at how much birthdays cost parents and and
yeah,
grandparents and stuff. It was like
yeah,
it's a lot,
yeah.
and you know what? And the thing about membership and donor programs is
hmm
you are getting a whole lot of stuff,
Yeah,
um, but it's really about supporting the museum. So that's why there's all different levels and things. But it really is about supporting a community museum,
right.
and you get all this great stuff. But the birthday, it's going back to can adults have birthday parties? We're just launching that, and there's a whole media
Yeah,
campaign coming out because we've had so many requests from like us, like
yeah,
I want to have my birthday party there.
yeah.
So so yeah, no, it's totally, or hen parties or whatever, like, and so yeah, so that's actually launching. I think pretty soon. No, I just saw the campaign, probably in a couple of weeks. So that's a super
Yeah.
fun thing to do at the museum,
Hmm.
as well as like lots of other stuff as well. Like,
Yeah. Well, of course. And you can
so
we have
yeah.
volunteer opportunities. So if somebody wants to volunteer, they can come in here and click to here to be a volunteer. So for the volunteer program, is it? I mean, does it kind of encompass everything? Like if I sign up to be a volunteer and I show up, on Tuesday to be my volunteer hours or stuff, is it just kind of like, okay, Chris, what do you want to do, or do you guys have things planned out for the volunteers?
Oh my, our volunteer program is highly organized.
Okay.
It's we have a lot of like we have a lot of people who are passionate, who come
Hmm.
and want to volunteer. And there's lots of things you can do. So, for example, if you want to say take one of the education cards out and talk about a certain thing, you can. If
Okay.
you want to be get trained to work in our Paleo Live thing, which so we have scientists working in our lobby on extracting fossils out of these big jackets.
Right.
So it's actually because people really want to know, how do we know
Yeah.
what we know? So it's important, like we have scientists there. So we train volunteers to be able to do that as well. So
Yeah.
they're working in science engagement, actually digging out right now. I think it's a mastodon, like in a
Wow.
jacket, pulling it out. So as a volunteer, you can do all this super, super cool stuff. But if you wanted like you're interested in building things
Hmm.
and exhibits, you can be a
Yeah.
volunteer in the exhibits department.
Wow.
So I think there's great ways to engage. And then we do a lot of,
Okay.
we really appreciate our volunteers a lot. So we do a lot of things to sort of show them that. So we do a lot of events for volunteers and bring everyone
Nice.
together and do potluck dinners and celebrations.
That's
But
fantastic.
yeah, but volunteers, I think volunteerism, I think even in our city, Chris, is a big part of our
Hmm.
lives, I think, in the city,
Absolutely.
Mesa. I mean, we do it
Yeah.
with Rotary and
Hmm.
so we have a really generous community
Yeah.
and they show up at the museum. Uh so yeah, which is really great. My favorite, we actually do have a youth volunteer
Okay.
group, massive group as well. And that's actually super cool because that's a great way for them to learn about the internship program and move into the internship program.